the Matatu Owners Association chairman, who is Albert Karakacha, now says that Matatu operators and transport stakeholders are very much ready to engage with the government in talks to avert another paralysis of the transport sector, as has been witnessed this particular Monday. And, he warns that if, the strike will continue if the authorities fail to address the concerns over the soaring fuel costs. Wamesema kwamba ni mazungumzo tu sasa ambayo yataweza kusuluhisha matatizo ambayo wengi wamepitia asubuhi leo na pia afternoon kwa Kiswahili nini?
Mchana haswa. Na ikumbuke kwamba Sheila, waziri wa kawi Opiyo Wandayi alikuwa ameeleza kwamba angependa sana kuwe na mazungumzo hili hali iwe tulivu. Na tunapoendelea kudadavua masuala haya, mtazamaji, ni vizuri pia tukueleze ni yapi yanajiri katika maeneo mbalimbali humu nchini. Katika eneo la Githurai kuna gari ambalo limechomwa katika eneo hilo la Githurai, wakati ambapo kuna wakazi na vile vile wahudumu wa matatu ambao wanaandamana kuishinikiza serikali kupunguza bei ya mafuta, na huo ndio mwito ambao unatolewa na kila mtu, bei ishuke ili mambo yaende namna ambavyo yanapaswa kwenda. Na ndio shughuli nzima ambayo tunazidi kufuatilia katika barabara ya Thika, Ruiru, mengi tu ambayo yanazidi kujitokeza, na pia katika kaunti zingine hali ndio hiyo. Na lakini Mombasa hali inakaa kuwa shwari
zaidi. I think the most interesting information that we got today is seeing some of the conductors, the touts, turning some of those stage into football pitches. Looking at, some in Ruiru, along Wayaki Way, Wame gather and they're playing now football because there is no work to do, courtesy of the fuel hike price and of course the strike that has emanated from that as well. But on serious matters is that we have seen people lose lives today, which is the saddest that has happened, even when some of this Matatu Owners Association and had called for a peaceful protest and asked even security agencies to sort of protect them.
Kama Naivasha hali si hali. Ndio. Na unapata kwamba kuna watu ambao wamejeruhiwa na pia kuna mtu mmoja ambaye amefariki dunia. Pia tulishuhudia katika eneo la Nakuru. Kuna kijana mmoja aligongwa na gari la polisi wakati wa mshike. Na matukio mengi tu ambayo tunazidi kuyafuatilia, mtazamaji, kutoka maeneo mbalimbali humu nchini, kwa kuwa kikosi chetu ama vikosi vyetu viko maeneo yote kuhakikisha tunamtaarifu mtazamaji.
Absolutely. We would be linking up with some of our reporters on ground, Alan Zuke, who has been circling Nairobi City, as well as Brenda Mudhoni, who has been moving through Roysambu, Kasarani areas to just see what the situation is. We have our reporter Kombo Alfayo in Kisii, who will let us know kama the long distance vehicles are operating as normal. In Kisumu, we have seen that some of the transport was had a hitch in the early hours of the morning, and of course most of the passengers saying that the issue is that there has been a hike of over 50%. Yani kwamba wewe ulikuwa umezoea kulipa 50 bob, sasa labda unalipa 150. And of course the situation in some areas kama Mombasa ni shwari, it's very calm, collected. And so right now we want to know what the situation is at the moment in the Nairobi CBD, Nairobi area. Our reporter Alan Zuki yupo pale, labda tuambie, je, ni mwecheche, ni stima, ni hali ni vipi?
Always a pleasure to hear you, Sheila, speak like me, And I have to say right now, it's not really mwecheche, it's a bit better because the situation is slowly returning to normalcy. A lot of traffic we are witnessing, of course, with the help of my cameraman. Maybe we can just show you how the Westlands Square roundabout is looking right now. You can see a lot of cars are already back in the road. However, it is important to note that we're not yet seeing any public service vehicles, I mean the matatus. However, we do see some commercial online taxis already in business. However, we are not seeing any matatus as of right now. However, it is important to note that less than 30 minutes ago, just along this Wayaki Way on our way to Uthiru, oh my, trust me, Sheila, I was almost dying because we were able to come across some group of rowdy youths who responded by throwing to us stones. They managed to break the barrier of the police officers, and since we were there live in action, they responded by throwing stones. And by stones, I do not mean pebbles, I mean stones. Thankfully, the whole crew made it out alive, and the best thing is that the car is in a good condition. However, Sheila, still, it is important to note that in this area, the Westlands area, it is known for a lot of business, and the business people have really suffered. And right now, I am joined by one of the few businessmen in this area who can just maybe, tell me how the situation has been. Of course, starting with your name, tell me how your business has been today, and tell me, compared to other days, how good is your business compared to today because of the strike from the matatus, making people not to come to work, because you do know that this is a very busy work area.
I'm Paul Kawambu, a worker in Westlands area. Today it has affected us because we have worked a long distance. Like for example, I'm from Uruma up to here, like 3 to 4 hours walking. So totally it has affected us. Second, today the business is very, very low compared to the other days.
So you're telling me you walked for 3 hours from Uruma? And how do you come to work on a daily, like apart from today? What do you use to come to work, and how long does it take?
It is around 30 minutes using a matatu at a very cheap price. But since the fuel price increased, be a challenge for us. We have to move for a distance because of our water.
You can speak Swahili. Don't be scared. You can speak Swahili.
Kulingana na ile upato wetu, tunatembea kidogo ndo at least upunguze bei ndo ufike ile bei ya matatu. Yeah.
So ukizingatia leo, unaona ni kama utaingiza pesa ngapi? Utapata chochote cha kukurudisha nyumbani?
Compared to the other days, today nimepata 2 lunch na sidhani kama ndapata kitu kingine.
Unfortunately, Sheila, that is the sad reality of the strike. Of course, it's going to affect a lot of things, because remember, many are complaining that the recent fuel hikes have caused the transport fare to go high, and for a businessman like him to go all the way from Uruma right here to Westlands, it costs quite a lot. And to be able to not even have a matatu to go today, it's quite fascinating how vital the matatus are to our economy. However, it is important to note that right after this, we'll be slowly making our way to the central business district downtown, whereby we hope to see if everything is going okay. But so far, what I can tell you, Sheila, is it is not as normal as always, because we know this is a very busy roundabout, but compared to the morning, we can tell that people have started going back to the roads slowly. But once again, very important to note, we have not spotted a single matatu on the road. They have come united, they have protested, because remember, they use diesel, and as long as the fuel price is high, the fare is going to be high. And remember, most of those cars are on loan, so they also have to pay for the loans, ensuring they get maximum profit. So Sheila, no matatus on the road. However, for most personal vehicles, we are seeing them back on the road. And for the business side, that is the one that has suffered the most. And of course, in our subsequent bulletins, we'll make sure to tell you how it will go down and how bad it was today for the business sector. However, for now, Sheila and Josh, back to you. I'll see you in a bit when I make my way down to the central business district downtown. And I hope it's not as much as crazy as it was at Waiyaki Way, because trust me when I tell you, it really went down there. Back to you, Sheila.
All right, that is Alan Nzuki, who is at Westlands area of Nairobi. But before I let you go, Alan, you have just mentioned that the situation in Waiyaki was really horrible at around noon and midday. Perhaps before you left, could you paint a picture of how you left that area? How is the mood like after you left? And even when you were there, what about police presence? How was it looking like?
Of course, Sheila, the police presence was very high because remember, as we were making our way down there, we were just behind a fleet of police vehicles that went there, and they started removing the stones from the road because what the residents of that area had done, they had blocked the road, barricaded the road with stones large enough to ensure that no cars passes through. But the fleet of vehicles was ferrying around 5-6 vehicles was ferrying around 30 police officers. So in unison, they managed to pull away the barricades. However, just as they were making their forward approach, they used, I would like to say, the gentle youth just made their way behind the barricade through the inner areas and just came out at us, and then it was all hell broke loose because it was tear gas everywhere, it was stone throwing everywhere, and then they were trying to barricade the road again to ensure that no one can make their way to Uthiru from to the Wayaki way. So for someone who is going to Uthiru, there is no direct access. The only other option is if they go down the Red Hill Kabete Road. However, through the Wayaki way, it still remains closed because we have seen the police officers are still trying to restore parity in the area. However, the youth there are quite determined to ensure that no car passes through that road. That is why immediately the police were making the forward steps in unison with some of the cooperative citizens. We saw some of these rowdy youth go and pick up a stone as large as almost me and carry it together just to put it on the road to ensure that they prove the point that there is no way we are going to allow a car to pass here. And I think as the situation is unfolding, we are still seeing some of the cars use the wrong side over here. So it means the situation there has not really gotten better. However, we do expect some clarity in a few minutes because we have seen a fleet of vehicles go that way, and we believe they are the police accompanied by the DCI. So in a matter of minutes, if all goes well, we do believe that parity will be restored along the Wayaki way.
We are getting you, of course, from Westlands. Stay safe, my friend. And of course, we would be getting back to you to just get now the situation at the CBD in Nairobi. So, you know, he says, imekuwa ni mwecheche.
Ndiyo, na hivi sasa unajua, ana ile power ya kukusanya hizi taarifa, wanavyosema mtaani power. Ndiyo. Na mtazamaji, tunaendelea kukujuza mengi tu ambayo yanazidi kuchipuka, na hivi sasa tutakuwa tunamsikiliza yule ambaye ni kinara wa Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka, na mwenzangu Sheila, najua utakuwa unaendelea kukipiga kwa lugha ya Kimombo. Lugha ambayo unaienzi, sio? Tusikilize Kalonzo Musyoka, mtazamaji, endelea kufuatilia matangazo haya.
Badala ya kushughulikia kwamba bei ya